Ali, 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 yeah. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7. I praise the Lord for these lessons. I'm striving to be the message, and I thank the Lord for His blessings. I'll leave us the circle 7.
Unmuted.
Islam. Can you hear me, sister?
Now I can. Gratitude.
Gratitude. Islamism. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Want to rise upon the 7 within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to His holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. Let us come forth with our ancient committee and adept Moorish American prayer. And as we come forth, we ask that you open up your hearts and minds as we open up the way. Islam, Islam, Islamism. Ya Allah abnu heru makuneteru, Ya Allah abhed heru, Ya Allah ma'at heru, Ya Allah hotep heru, Ya Allah heru, Ya Allah ma'at herkuti, Ya Allah ahwajet dajuti, Ya Allah per im sutek per im heru, Ya Allah bamaduti, al hajat shepsis rab to Ali. Amen. Halayas, halayas, halayas. And that is to say, Moorish kin in transliteration, O Allah, the Father of the universe. O Allah, the Father of the universe. Pardon self, Moors. O Allah, the Father of love. O Allah, the Spirit of truth. O Allah, the Spirit of peace. O Allah, the Spirit of freedom. O Allah, the Spirit of justice. O Allah, you are my protector. O Allah, you are my guide. O Allah, you are my salvation by night and by day. O Allah, through your holy prophet, O Allah, Drew Ali. Amen. Holy-Issa, Holy-Issa, Holy-Issa. Islam, Moorish kin. And now we come forth before you with the divine constitution of Moorish America, salvation, our God, unity, the 7 supreme constitutional acts of law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America in power to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The assisting Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs, if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Morse America. The bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh. On a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you're part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of the said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you're entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to the triune acts, Acts 1, 2, and 3 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. The providence of Allah is ever all his works. He ruleth and directed with infinite wisdom. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He had wonderfully varied them in all beings, and each by his nature, conforming to his will. Shemotepu Moorish King. Peace and love.
Islam muted. Islam. Much gratitude and honor to our National Assistant Branch Chief of Moorish America, Dr. Shadwa Menti Mohammed the First, for opening our meeting according to law. This is Dr. Hatshepsut Tutankhamun Bey, National Branch Secretary of State. First of all, in line, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our class for this evening, giving honor to each and every one of you. Chapter 68, the beginning of Christianity. Every prophet leaves a holy book of guidance for his national. Drew Ali 2:04. The foundation of Christianity began in Rome. The Roman nations founded the first church, of whom crucified Jehoshua of Nazareth for seeking to redeem his people from under the Roman yoke and law. Jehoshua himself was of the true blood of the ancient Canaanites and Moabites and the inhabitants of Africa. Seeking to them from under the great pressure of the hands of the unjust, that the rulers and the rich would not oppress the poor. Also, that the lion and the lamb may lay down together, and neither would be harmed when morning came. These teachings were not accepted by the rulers, neither by the rich, because they loved the principles of the Ten Commandments. Through the Ten Commandments, the rulers and the rich live, while the poor suffer and die. The lamb is the poor people, the lion is the rulers and the rich. And through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, all men are one and equal to seek their own destiny and to worship under their own vine and fig tree, after the principles of the holy and divine laws of their forefathers. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, being taught universally to all nations and all lands. Islam, Islam, Islam. Today is Saturday, April 20th, 2024. We want to welcome everyone to a Moorish Perspective sponsored by our Moorish American government. Much gratitude and honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedawamenti Al-Muhaddith Shepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law. Also to our National Grand Secretary of State, Dr. Hatshepsut Tutankhamun Bey, for taking registration and reading our subject chapter for the week. Our host and instructor is our National Assistant Grand Chief, Moorish America, Dr. Shedawamenti Al-Muhaddith Shepsuel. Subject matter coming from Ayat 4 of our subject chapter for the week. Europe had peace for a long time until Mohammed the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the work of Yehoshua of Nazareth. We'll also be featuring Ayat 9 of our subject chapter for the week. Also, Morris, check your emails for the link for our online class this evening. And at this time, Morris, without further delay, we want to call to the floor our host instructor, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, Dr. Shedawamenti Al-Muhaddith Shepsuel. Islam? Unmuted.
Islamism. Can you hear me, Grand National Secretary of State?
A little low, but yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. What about now?
That's better. Gratitude.
Okay, gratitude. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, Moorish America. Want to rise upon the seven within the circle of justice, mercy, love, and right, and give all praises to the great God Allah, Father God Allah, and honors to his holy prophet, honors to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, that is. We give honors to our Moorish kin once again, here, there, and everywhere, and therefore honors to all of you who are continuously honoring yourselves by being yourselves. We give honors to our Grand National Seal. We give honors to our Grand National Emblem, National Flag, Divine Constitution and bylaws, and honors to all of you who are indeed a living manifestation and personification of everything that our holy prophet brought to make us a nation. I want to welcome you to another Moorish Perspectives. And I'm your host instructor, Dr. Shahid Imani Al-Mohadi Shabazz El. My ancient committee and high name being the same as Dr. Shedawamenti Al-Muhaddith Shepsuel. And you already know, Moorish kin, we most definitely have a powerful drawing to bring to the manifest, as always. You know, this is basically, grand drawing as it relates to, everything that it represents when it comes to dealing with us, and all that we represent, and we most definitely always come forth to uplift our people and take them to a high state of elevation and consciousness, so to speak, so that they may be able to come into a clear conception of the work that they are called to do by bearing witness to the work that has already been done, by those who came before them. All of the masterminds who came throughout the climes and time. We honor all divine prophets, all the way from Adam all the way up into this time where we are dealing with Ali, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, in this new era of time now, So I mean, it's a grand drawing, family, just to be here in this new era in time, because we said all the time that we could have been born in any particular era, but we just so happen to come forth in this particular era that we're in now, to do this grand, magnanimous work of uplifting fallen humanity, or rather, take peace, in doing this a special measure as well. So this is a powerful demonstration, family. It don't get no plainer than this. We are the ones who are here to bring this truth and uplift fallen humanity and take them to the next degree of unfoldment in relation to dealing with this paradigm shift that we call the age of information, or the information age, so to speak. You are being informed, and think about that. Informed to the degree where one is being formed within. This is where we truly take our shape and our mold from, and we are formed within as we conform to the deific will, being linked up with that deific will, coming forth from the great God Allah himself. How can we fail? As we already know, there is no failure for the human soul. And this is why, you would have many God men, so to speak, who come on the manifest in succession, following each other up and supporting each other with whatever it was that was laid down prior to. In fact, there was actually a sacred vow, or is actually a sacred vow, that is taken by all of the prophets, that they would support, the works of those who came before them and all of those who came behind them. This is an actual sacred vow that every prophet, takes, so to speak. So there are no strange happenings. And so our holy prophet, coming in the same holy breath, he took the same sacred vow. He didn't take an oath. He didn't swear. He took a sacred vow. And there's a difference between the two. Vows are mostly communicated between the great God and the individual, whereas oaths are mostly proclaimed, to prove to man, woman, or human beings, that you're going to be honorable, or whatever the case may be. So in all actuality, we take sacred vows to the higher self, that we will remain in the realm of the higher self. And this is how we are able to elevate our people. This is how we are able to elevate ourselves into a higher degree of consciousness, so that they may be able to bear witness to that golden cord and love that run throughout all of the laws, statutes, and the commandments, so to speak, that the great God Allah has deemed that we live by. So there are no strange happenings. We are here to do a grand work, and all we got to do is get on the manifest and be about that grand work. You see, and all is well, all will be well. So we got a grand drawing to bring on the manifest, family. Most definitely believe that, and know that. In fact, to go into our subject title that we have for tonight, coming from the beginning of Christianity, part 2, our subject chapter that we in, we are actually dealing with 2 ayats. One dealing with the main, Europe had peace for a long time until Muhammad, this is ayat 4, until Mohammed the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth, so to speak, right? Yehoshua of Nazareth would be the proper way if we was using, what we call the Proto-Canaanite tongue. So our ayat, in support is actually ayat 9. All nations of the earth in these modern days are seeking peace, but there is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, And it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. So this is the solution to the problem that we have before us. You see? In our last drawing, we went into the crucial fiction that they call the crucifixion in relation to dealing with Yehoshua. You know, we also made reference to him being of the blood of the ancient Canaanites and the Moabites. So that means he had to have your bloodline, you know, as well, in relation, that is. And it's the same with our brother Muhammad ibn Abdullah. Contrary to popular belief, you know, he actually was a descendant of the ancient Cushites, the Sabians, to be exact. You know, his grandmother, we have record of it, you know, was Sabian, Cushite. His wet nurse, she was Sabian, Cushite. His grandfather was Sabian, Cushite. And they use the terminology in certain translations where they say he was black as the darkest night. And we know that's dealing with a description, not a nationality. But they were given a description of how melanated his grandfather Al-Mutalib, how dark he was. So this is one of the secrets, so to speak, that has been kept back as well from our people. So much so to where it have some of our people condemning Muhammad as an Arab. And we got to straighten that up. We got to clean that up, you know. And when we use the term Arab, even Arab, you know, is basically a term that came about later, you know, but the true aspect has to be the root of the Sabians, or the Sabi'un Hunafa, you know, those who were the seekers of the truth. The same people that he got, you know, the concept of Salat from, you know, which derived their concept from the Kemetic aspect of it. These are different modes of salutation that are no more than what we would express in the yogic form or yoga forms and so forth and so on. All of that came out of Kemet. All of the teachings we understand come from the books, you know, and the teachings of one of the oldest books of the world, you know, and me and the scribes in it right now, the teachings of Tahotep, for example, one of those books. But all of the teachings of Kemet were rooted in Hotep, Islam. You see, just as every other teaching that came forth on the manifest later were but remixes of those same teachings of peace that came out of the ancient the temples of Kemet, the teachings of Kemet, the texts of Kemet, and so forth and so on. So this is the true expression of what we call the uniting of the Grand Quran, you know, or the Kara Ani, you know, Kara Ani, the Ka representing the spirit of the text, Ra representing the light of the text, and Ani representing the scribes. So we just say gratitude, Karani, Karani, you know. So understanding this, family, and understanding that Yehoshua came through a similar lineage, you know, all of them being descendants, you know, of the motherland, as our ancestors used the terminology Al-Akiba land. You know, once we understand this, going back to a Mexim, then we see that there's a connection that goes beyond just them being brothers of the prophetic cloth, but they are brothers of connection in relation to dealing with the lineage. You know, and these things, again, have been covered up, you know, and it's right there in a lot of the books that you have read and studied, but most of our people have fallen asleep behind the wheel because they chose the way of the Romans, you know, and the way that the European would like to express what it is that they have brought to our people. And our people have been content with that. They was in a state of being in peace for a long time until Prophet Noble Drew Ali, you know, Yehoshua come again, Muhammad come again, Buddha come again, Confucius come again, Krishna come again. All of them was at peace until the prophet came forth with these teachings in this new era in time, because we know he made reference into his laws, you know, when he stated that he was Yehoshua come again. We know that he said, when I was Muhammad. You see, this was our prophet saying this. So when we read certain texts, that are said to be the works of Muhammad, we're really dealing with the spirit of the prophet right there as well, because they brought the same truth. Remember, he came 5 times greater because he was 5 times more powerful, because those who came before him came with a saving power, and that same saving power reached us in this new era in time. And we call that saving power, we call that saving power the everlasting gospel of Allah. So it's a grand drawing, family. It don't get no plainer than that. It don't get no plainer than the truth. So we just say gratitude and Islamism without the schism, for all of those on the manifest doing the work of uplifting fallen humanity, and everything it is that our family is doing, to continue the work, this magnanimous work, of uplifting our people. So we got a grand drawing to bring on the manifest. And you already know, really, our measures always have a tie to the previous measures, that came before them. So this is a grand insight that we had to bring to our people. We encourage our family to have their paper and their pen on handy. We encourage our people to most definitely keep your likes up, and share these things with our people. Give them access to the same information that we have here. And in fact, what I'm gonna do right now, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna share this to our family real quick, because I want to make sure that they get it too. So let me go to the live, and I have to actually manually share this right now until I update my my payment method or whatever. They slide up on you here real quick. So let me do this. I should be able to get it there. Okay, there we go. So let me see. It should let me share. Okay, there you go, right there. Okay. So I'm gonna share this right here too. And y'all do the same, family, so that our people can get this information. Okay. A little bit more. Okay, 1 second here. We got some very valuable information to give our family. Okay. Okay, so we got it right there. Okay, let me say we're live and all is well. Yeah, there we go. Okay, post it. There we go. All right. Okay, so we got it posted now. And again, we're going to share it to a few areas, and then we'll let our family do the rest from there. So like I said, family, we got a grand drawing to bring on the manifest. This is very important that our people get this message. It's very important that all of our people come into this insight, because it's really meant to bring unity to our people. That's another thing. A lot of our people have been so disunited over our brother Yehoshua and our brother Muhammad, because they have been taught demarcation in relation to dealing with the teaching. And I like to call it religious gangbanging. They want to pit them against each other, and go to war behind them and everything else. And neither one of them taught, hatred. They taught love. They taught truth. They taught peace, freedom, and justice. The same principles that we are talking about right now. You know, they taught equality. They taught us everything that relate to the crown jewels that we represent. Every prophet taught that. And once we understand that and accept that as their doctrine, as opposed to indoctrination, then we can begin exhuming a nation. You see, once we accept that and keep it simple in all simplicity. So I'm going to touch on a few things. Some of the things you may be familiar with, some you may not be familiar with. But trust me, you're going to learn, if you haven't already learned, some grand drawings that we had to bring to the manifest. And I got one more little measure I'm putting up right here. I'm into the essence of this drawing. Here we are. I'm in those archives right now. Praise be to Allah. Here we go. I got it. So, again, our subject title, dealing with the beginning of Christianity, part 2. You know, we touching on Ayat 4. Europe had peace for a long time until Mohammed the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. Now, when we say they had a peace for a long time, right? In other words, everything was all right until the truth came on the manifest. Falsehood was safe until truth came on the scene. That's basically what's being said right there in that ayah. You know, the falsehood that Europe, you know, had basket in as a sun, so to speak, you know, under, you know, it was all good until the real sun showed up. You know, Muhammad ibn Abdullah, Mohammed the First, because there were many who came behind him bearing that same name, you know, and they were also conquerors, just like he was a conqueror. You see, and they gave trouble to whoever it was that they met. That's why the name Muhammad is so honorable in this era of time now. You know, and that's a whole nother measure. But when we go into the aspect of dealing with him fulfilling the works of Yehoshua, this is the key that many people have not received. You know, that's the key. Every prophet comes as a fulfiller of those who came before them. Every prophet comes somewhat as a harbinger of those who come, you know, after them. You see? So Yehoshua had a harbinger role. In his harbinger role, he prepared the way for Muhammad. How do we know this? All you got to do is go into the Piscean records and read in the books when he spoke of saying the spirit of truth, you know, or the comforter would come, and that the comforter would not be able to show up, you know, and do his work unless he, Yehoshua, made his departure. You know, no two God men, you know, doing the grand work, you know, incarnate at the same time. When we say God man, we're talking about major prophets. Major prophets, when they come, it's often a time frame in between the coming of another that come behind them. Now, may be many minor prophets that come, you know, to pretty much extend the blessings and the lessons, you know, but yet the major prophets, you know, have a more extensive time period in between, or gaps in between their comings. You know, and most of the time when they come in to bring about a complete paradigm shift, you know, as it relates to their people. And every prophet come to their people with a message that's tailor-made for them based upon their condition. The Arabs praise poetry so much to where the great God Allah revealed the Quran in a poetic manner because he knew that's what they would relate to and that's what they would accept. Anyway, some that were amongst them. And it was the eloquence of the Quran that caused some of the Arabs to accept the truth and follow Muhammad. Others who were making money and being wealthy off of misleading the people and idol gods, they was upset with that. And it was the same that happened when Yehoshua came prior to that, when he was dealing with, the Romans. He had some of his people who accepted the truth he brought. He was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Only a small group accepted what it was that he brought. So he was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, but yet his message ended up being a universal message that we all bear witness to. Just as Muhammad was sent, to the Arabs, yet his message became a message that we can all bear witness to. And so it is, that the people were steeped in idolatry. They were steeped in law and people misusing the law. So Yehoshua had to come and bring them a law of love. Like Muhammad had to bring the Arabs, the concept and bring them out of idolatry and idol worship. They fell back into it after Yehoshua. So then Prophet Noble Ali had to come to us, and our message that was brought to us had to do with our nationality and divine creed, because that was the condition that we were found in. Those things were taken from us. Nationality wasn't the order of the day during the time of Prophet Muhammad. Nationality wasn't the order of the day during the time of Yehoshua, during the time of Moses, and all of the prophets that came before Prophet Noble Ali. Nationality became the order of the day because that's the time that we living in. And nationality is that in which links you through the lineage, the bloodline, your descent nature. But you also had right on the manifest as well, your divine creed. And that's why the first time the prophet used Moorish, the first time it ever surfaced, is when he made reference to May 1st, 1916. When he said, establish the Moorish Science Temple of America for the purpose of teaching our people to be better citizens, where they were at that time. But then he established the Moorish Divine and National Movement for the purpose of the uniting of the Asiatic states. So although our prophet was not able to unite the Asiatic states while he was in the body, he knew that he would be able to do it from the plane of soul. You see, because he said that he could better aid and assist us by working from the plane of soul. So when you're speaking of the coming of Yehoshua, the coming of Muhammad, you're speaking of the coming of Prophet Noble Ali, past, present, and future. You see? Saving power, that's what we call it. That came, through our ancient forefathers. So we're going to get into that, when we go into this measure. We want you to understand, again, the fulfillment of the works that Muhammad had to come forth and bring forth, you see, in fulfilling the works of Yehoshua. He even gave this example according to some of the teaching, actually an example that Yehoshua actually gave. When Yehoshua spoke to his disciples, he told them in the Piscean records, he said, haven't you not heard the same block the builders rejected became the chief cornerstone? You see? And this, he said, was that this was meant to be giving them insight that the kingdom of heaven will be taken away from them and given forth to another nation that will bring forth the fruits thereof. In other words, there was somebody coming behind him. So not only did Yehoshua say that one was coming behind him, but he said that a nation was coming that represented the same block that the builders rejected. Now, historically, he was speaking of those who would come through the teaching and lineage of Muhammad. But also figuratively speaking, and also a part of our reality, he was speaking of us in this new era and time, because that's the way the truth is. You see, the same truth that draws us drives us, and the same truth that was spoken then shows us that there is nothing new under the sun. So if Prophet Noble Drew Ali came forth 5 times more powerful and more greater, then he surely would have to walk in the footsteps of those who came before him. This is the true definition of the word sunnah, unbeknown to many. It's not what it has become today and what the media has made it to be, and what a lot of those who have dealt with Arabization has come up with. It actually has to do with walking in the footsteps of the ancestors. Just like we are the return of the ancient ones and history is repeating itself, that's the same thing that was taking place with the scripture. So everything that happened in the past during the time of Yehoshua and Muhammad foreshadowed what would take place right here in the West as it relates to the so-called Negro, Black, and colored people. Our people. We are the ones who come forth as a fulfillment of the works of the prophets. That's why we call it the end time and fulfillment of prophecy. You see, so that's the key. Each and every one of us, whether we know it or not, in our lives on the individual level, we come into this life, whether we know it or not. If we pay attention, we are fulfilling certain portions of scripture. We can look at this as it relates to us on a collective level, but we can also look at it as it relates to us individually. Like I tell somebody quick, I'm in the book of Job. You know what I mean? And you can be anywhere in a particular book, but the thing is that we can become the word made manifest because it is fulfilled in us. And when we see it this way, then the truth becomes a reality because we live that reality. And then it's not a doctrine of spookism. It's not a doctrine of make-believe and fairy tale, because you can actually live what it is that has been manifested. The truth becomes augmented to the extent to where you can embrace it in your life. And you can understand it because everything that we going through right now, they went through then. Everything that we going through right now, our ancestors went through before us. The only difference is they didn't get a chance to see it come into fruition. And so we got a chance to live it, to be it, and see it come into fruition. Islam, I don't think it get no plainer than that, do it? So let us go further into this measure, and rewind and slow the ethers down a bit and go back in the time, because, masterminds are able to trace themselves back and thus say no. So getting into this aspect of, the fulfillment portion, we want to talk about that first, and then we're going to go to our second ayat and get into the essence of that. There was a drawing that was given, and I'm going to show you something that a lot of times our people don't look over. This is why we have to understand etymology. We have to understand linguistics. We got to study language, family. All of these things are relevant to what it is that we are speaking about. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen real quick. And I want to show you something. And you always hear us talking about this here. We already talked about, Muhammad following up, Yehoshua fulfilling his works. And many of you may have seen the gospel of Barnabas. We talked about that a few times. And this was actually a book that should have been included in the Bible, which it was in the original text. You got to go into the Codex Sinaiticus, the original Codex Sinaiticus, that the Vatican has in its archives. And then there's also a Turkish version, that they have, and this is called a 1500-year-old Bible. They actually have a copy of this as well. So in this book, it talks about Yehoshua not being crucified. Give me 1 second here, boys. I want to make sure this apparatus is juiced up, so to speak, and don't die on us. Okay. Here we go. All right. So yeah, there are texts that are out there, and we done put this out there a few times. We showed it to our family, and we got whole videos on this. So you can always go back into my archives and take a look at these things, and you will know exactly what we have just said is the truth. These things have been hidden, just like the works that our prophet brought to us had been hidden, and they had to be brought forth. And so in this new era and time, we are fulfilling the works of our holy prophet by bringing these things to the manifest so that our people may be able to get this truth plainly, because that's the main thing that has divided our people, not understanding the work, of the prophets, our brothers Muhammad and Yehoshua, and they have pitted them against each other so much so to where it's hard to bring unity to our people, because people have been taught that one was in opposition to the other, and nothing can be further from the truth. And that's what we're going to prove to our people. So let me go to this first document I have here. Let's see here. And this is actually the gospel of Barnabas too, right here. Let's see. Come on, open up. Okay, there we go. Oh, it done closed up on me. So let me do this here. Should be able to get it back over here. There we go. Okay, there we go. And they were speaking in here in the introduction of this particular version. Here it is right here. They were speaking of the portion of the English translation of a Hebrew portion of the scripture where it was talking. It mentions the name Muhammad. And this was actually in the book of the Songs of Solomon, right? And it says in the English version, his mouth is most sweet. Yeah, he is Muhammad, altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughter of Jerusalem, right? Now, how this made this into the Songs of Solomon? I mean, you guess yourself, right? It says, King Solomon has named the prophet that was to come, Muhammadan. In the Hebrew suffix la, as used to express respect, as the term Eloha, which means God. Now, this is actually a way that they spell the connection to the name Allah, Eloha, which means the one true God, and it's A-H-L-A-H in the Hebrew as well. It's mentioned in the Bible as Elohim as well. It is thus clear that Solomon has quite distinctly mentioned the name of the prophet that was to come as Muhammad. But an error is made intentionally and or unintentionally by the translation of the proper name as altogether lovely. Even the translation altogether lovely is a befitting attribute of the holy prophet, as mentioned in the words of the Hadith. The Hebrew words in the Roman script as follows. It says of the prophecies of the New Testament of Ahmad the Messiah, in the original Greek text. So, Ahmad is the root of the name Muhammad, which actually means praiseworthy, so to speak. One who is worthy of praise and so forth and so on. In other words, being reverent. But when you go into this name Muhammad, as it mentioned it in Hebrew, because people say, well, show me at it, and they chant that this thing was most likely did intentionally, which makes sense. It's the same reason why they blotted the name Ahmad out of the New Testament, so that the people wouldn't be able to make that connection, and they use the word comforter, a spirit of truth. Now, we know good and well, if a comforter comes or a spirit of truth come, in order for you to know them to be present, They had to come in human form. So if Yehoshua said a comforter or a spirit of truth was coming other than him, and we know it was not him coming again, because he wouldn't have left. There would be no need for him to say somebody was coming behind him if it was him coming. You see? So this one that was coming behind him would come, but we know that you don't see spirits with the physical eye. You see spirits when they have become garbed with a vehicle that we call flesh. So the one coming behind him would have to be one of flesh and blood. It would have to be a man. You see? Whether he be the spirit of truth or whether he be the comforter. You see what I'm saying? Now, some people could even argue these two different individuals coming, the spirit of truth and the comforter, and come up with a whole nother argument. But we know it's the same individual that he's speaking of coming behind him. And we're going to show you this in a minute, even further. But I want to go into the Hebrew text. I have it pulled up already here. What they just read in that particular, or what they quoted in that particular document. And here it is right here. I'm going to show you how powerful this language is. This is what it says, just lovely, altogether lovely, right? It says, Wekulu, Muhammadin, right? Muhammadin. Now that you know that this is saying this, I'm going to show you how powerful this is. You can actually look and see the name Muhammad right here in the Hebrew. And this is box Hebrew. This is not the original Hebrew, by the way. This is the Masoretic text. But this is M. See the M? You can see the shape of the M, like a stylish M. This is the H here. MH, right? This is the other M here, right? And then this is pardon self, the other Dean. This is Dean here. This is D, Daleth, and this right here is often Yod, which is Y, and then this becomes Mem. So that's M, H, M, D, Y, D. Muhammad. It don't even have the M at the end. The M, M at the end is actually M, again, H, again, M, again, D, Y, D, Muhammadi. So anyway, this is the Bible now. It's your Hebrew Bible. You see, let's click on it and see, how far this gives us a little insight into this. And it says here, and they use it in a few places, we can actually see the word changing too in the sound shift in the document here. See, this is why you got to know linguistics, people. You see, you got to know this right here. And they used it right there again. There it is. Muhammad. They actually say Muhammadi, just like I said a few minutes ago. Muhammadeha, Muhammadenu, Muhammadin, Muhammad. This is almost close to the way that the Turks said, M-H, M-A-H-M-A-D, like Mahmed. And they show 5 occurrences for this. Then you have Muhammad Day. So these are different variations coming from one word. Look at all this right here, right? Mahmaot, Mahamadi, Mahamadiyat, Mahamadinu, Mahmad. Man, look at all of this right here. Goodness gracious. Man, this word is all over the book. I got to go deeper into that right there. This word all over the book. But it's like 12 occurrences, at the main root. This is the Hebrew, and Strong's 4261 is the number. So if you go into Strong, that's where you're going to find all of the roots. But they have different definitions and terminology that they use based on the translation. They say he is wholly desirable. In the New American, I want to say Standard Version. King James Version, it says most sweet. Yeah, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved. And then other one says in the International Version, I want to say, it says sweetness is wholly desirable. This is my beloved. So this is referring to one, as a friend, as they use the terminology in the document that we read. So this is powerful in and of itself. That right there should be enough to make Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder believe, with all due respects. You know what I mean? So it don't get no plainer than that. That's just dealing with the name. Now, there are also other occurrences in certain teachings, like even in Hinduism and Buddhism, where the name Muhammad, has surfaced as well. But that's a whole nother measure, of them basically speaking of one coming bearing that name. Even the Knights Templar was said to be tortured because they claimed that the word Baphomet, which namely now came to be some type of beast or demonic entity, is supposed to be a corruption of the name Muhammad. And if you know anything about sound shifting, you can understand, the connection of the Baphomet name to the name Muhammad. But it was the Roman Catholic Church that demonized that name, because the B is interchangeable with the letter M, and that's a whole nother measure. But we do know that it is proven that a lot of the Knights Templars converted to Islam, and that's why they was tortured. They was seen as traitors and so forth and so on, and that's why in their little symbolic shrineism and stuff, they get them first dibs of being able to get into the shrine, go through them little 14 degrees instead of going through 33 and then go straight up in the shrine, the Templars. But that's a whole nother measure. They took a pact under the tree with the Muslims that was known as splitting of the M, or the splitting of the knowledge is what they call it. Ilm is the word for knowledge. In Hebrew and Arabic, we call these strong words, because they relate to each other in more than one language. So when they say ulama, the group of scholars, the ulama, it comes from the same root word ilm, which is ilm or ilm sometime. Some people say it, or, in the Hebrew, olam, which actually refers more to the secrets behind creation, the knowledge behind creation, the book of creation. But that's a whole nother measure. I'm just showing you certain things that most people try to keep secret and hide from you, and they'll put the Quran in the closet and let it collect dust, the Grand Quran, from whence we derive our power and authority. The true Grand Quran, from whence we derive our power and authority, is the book, the mother of the book. Nothing wrong with the physical copy, but the mother of the book existed long before the physical Quran. Quran simply means recitation. There's a constant recitation that has been brought forth from the very time that the great God Allah said, kun fayakun, when he said, be and it is. You see, and this reverberated, so to speak, all the way up into this new era in time. This same vibration. You see? So the mother of the book is the book from whence everything else come forth, and is referred to as al-Kitab. And it extends back into time, even into the text that is known as Allahi al-Mahfuz. What we call the preserved tablet. You see? But that's a whole nother measure. The same book that it is said that the great God Allah opened in the beginning of creation. Some hadith would say this, but even in the book of Daniel, it speaks of the time when the Creator came forth and established his throne, and he opened up the book of remembrance. He opened up the book. So that's a whole nother measure. But even the word kara is found in the Hebrew, which means to proclaim loud. But that's a whole nother measure. I just wanted to touch on some of those things because we have no idea as to how much the truth is already bridged. We are the ones that continue to tear the bridge down and create gaping gaps, so to speak. So it's not strange that Yehoshua greeted his disciples, Shalom Aleichem, which is just another way of saying, Assalamu alaikum, 2 different dialects, peace be unto you. You see, it don't get no plainer than that. Shalom, salam. Mostly you will find the H in the words that are considered Hebrew, and then a lot of the Arabic words go straight forth. Shalom and salam both mean peace. Jerusalem, a place that is founded in peace. They talk about in the parable of the Good Samaritan, one who fell from Jerusalem into Jericho. A state of peace, a mind state of peace. Jericho represented a place of confusion. So one fell from a state of peace into confusion, and that's what happened to our people when it came to this Christian doctrine. They was in a peaceful state of mind naturally, but after coming through the Ma'afa, the great suffrage, after being enslaved, after being run amok, after being led astray, they then fell into a state of confusion. And language became babble to them, because that's what confusion is. So now people hard of hearing. Now people barely can understand what you bring to them, and they will fight and argue at the drop of a dime based upon what somebody told them, because they are loyal to what somebody said. And this is a natural thing for us to have love for somebody that teaches us and revels us or raises us up. But we don't know that that person's knowledge may be limited that taught us. So we have to learn how to cut ties, not with the teacher, but elevate when you come into a greater teaching than that which you was given by that teacher. In other words, what we're saying is when that teaching come on the manifest, the Israelites should have been ready to accept Muhammad. But they were so caught up in the fact that they were chosen people. The Quran say that they were the chosen people. It don't deny that. But that became their very barrier and their blockage, which is similar to why some of our people are. When it comes to what somebody taught us, my grandmama taught me that. My granddaddy, just because they taught you that don't mean it was correct. Now, it may have got them through, and it may have got you through based upon them standing on what they accepted as something that was good doctrine. You learn good principles from that. But when you find that there was something missing, that is no dishonor to your grandparents or your parents to accept what you was lacking in or what they were lacking in. In fact, it's your duty to fulfill what it was that they were not able to fulfill. So you have to demonstrate fulfillment. Being the so-called black sheep, the one who was raised up to correct the error. Most in each of every one of us who are here right now within the sound of my voice, it's only one of us that came from our family, that came into this teaching. So our duty is to give them what they didn't have. And if you ain't strong enough to do that, and your weakness, won't allow you to do that because you feel like the truth will offend, those who came before you, then this ain't a job for you. You need to sit down somewhere and listen and learn and let somebody else demonstrate. Because if not, you're going to end up going out of the door anyway. Because you can't stand on the truth alone, being a man or a woman of the great God, because you are easily swayed. If a woman can sway you away from the Most High, then you wasn't standing on nothing from the beginning. If a man can sway you from the Most High, then you weren't standing on nothing from the beginning. If your family member can sway you away from the Most High, just because it's your mama, just because it's your daddy, just because it's your sister, just because it's your brother, if they can do that, then you are not loyal to the Most High. That don't mean that you don't love your brother, your sister, your mother, and your father. We are saying that the great God Allah is the one that made y'all, all of you. So what he say go over everything. What he say supersede all opinion. What he say supersede all ideologies. What he say supersede all so-called made up traditions. Yeah, I said it. And until we learn how to stand on the truth like that, we're going to continue to fall by climbing. The prophet said he needs strong morals. He even said, if my own mama, she can't get by. Do wrong, she can't get by. You know, and even if he said that about his mama, you already know the daddy too. You know what I mean? Because, you know, we love our mother. We love our father too. You know, so if my own mama ain't right, she can't get by. Right in what? That can be right in many different ways. In this case, we're talking about right in the doctrine that has been given to us. Praise be to Allah. My mother be on here all the time, watching. You know, she been saying recently, yeah, I think I want to come over there and be a part of that, what you in. You know, that's what I want to do. You know, and she be watching, she comment on some of the blogs and stuff. You see, and she was stumped down into the biblical concept. But even in that, boy, she was staying in defense of, you know, these teachings when somebody go to trying to talk negative about them. Remember, you talk about, you know, Islam and no Muslim. My son is one of them. You understand? Praise be to Allah for giving me a mother like that who can stand on her doctrine and also honor the work that I'm called to do. I was talking to her yesterday and she's like, son, you got a prophetic work on you. You know what I mean? You don't use that terminology prophet, but you got a prophetic work on you, you know? And so, you know, when we get into that aspect right there, you know, some of us are blessed with that type of mercy in the hearts of our family. And some of our family members have been so indoctrinated that they will condemn you for being who you are. But even if that is so, you got to stand on the truth, family. Because you got to think about it. And I say this all the time. When most of us was out there in the world living crazy, ain't nobody getting in the way trying to stop us. They might talk about us behind our back, man, that yeah, crazy out there, you know, running around it. But they never got in your way and tried to get in the way with the book and bring you home with the truth. But all of a sudden now you come into the truth and you change like everybody got a descendant, you know, knowledge, so to speak, where they got to come forth and correct you. You know, you need to be following Jesus, right? And they don't even know you honor and follow Yahushua more than they do. Half of them just saying that right there because they feel uncomfortable by you. But if you begin to stand on truth like that right there, and you stand on it to the fullest, I like the young generation say, stand on business, the business of your Father God Allah, then your people gonna honor you too. Now, if you halfway with it, trying to be 3/4 slick, then you're gonna have some problems. But that's a whole nother measure. So dealing with this aspect of showing you Muhammad here, you know, there's another measure that's very important. You always hear me quote it all the time. You know, I'm gonna go back here. I can go to it from here too, since I'm here. Okay. Say Solomon say Muhammad was his friend, daughters of Jerusalem. Okay, so we're going to go to another book real quick. Let's see. I should be able to type it in. Revelations 14. Oh, they done brought it up. See, it says the Lamb and 144,000. You know, and that's who Yahushua was pretty much sent to. You know, he was sent to them particular one. That's the chosen few that he dealt with. Oh yeah, trying to find it. Here we go. And I tell people this all the time, right here in the book of Revelation, prophesizing, saying, I look and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion. We already know the comforter is supposed to come behind him now. The spirit of truth. We know this is a man. And lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their forehead. That's the chosen few of the lost sheep of the house of Israel now. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, as the voice of great thunder. I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. No man could learn that song but the 144,000 which was redeemed from the earth. So these 144,000 had been able to hear this new song, this new truth. They was able to peek into the book that was coming behind them. That's what's being stated here. That's the new song, the new truth that will be brought, right? So it says, these are they who were not defiled with women, for they are virgins, and these are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. This was the faithful that followed Yahushua. It said, these were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb, and in their mouth was found no guile. It says, for they are without fault before the throne of God. We know this ain't talking about no lamb coming later doing this. You know, this is all dealing with something that had already been fulfilled, you know, and telling you about a prophecy of those who are coming. So then it talks about 3 angels in Babylon's fall. You remember I told you Babylon represents confusion in the hearts of the mind. That's why there has to be a fall of that mind state of confusion in us. You know, we got to return back to that state of peace. Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, as they call it, right? And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven. In my Bible, it say angel means messenger, which we know angel means messenger. What are angels used for? What do they take the message throughout the 4 corners of the earth? I saw another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel. Go back to your questionnaire. Saving power to preach to them that dwell on the earth in every nation, kindred, tongue, and people. So this particular one that came behind Yahushua came with a universal message for every nation, every kindred, every tongue, every people. Yahushua was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But this one coming behind him, this messenger, he was coming with a universal message to support the message of the ones who came before him. And he's saying, fear the great God. Give glory to him. Don't worship man. Don't worship beasts. Don't worship trees. Don't worship your ego. Fear God, not man. Is that not the message of our brother Muhammad ibn Abdullah? Mohammed the First? Fear him and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made the heaven and the earth. Stop worshiping them idols, the sea and the fountains and the water. That's Muhammad. And there were more that came behind him. We'll get into that at another time because we want to deal specifically with the one that came directly behind Yahushua, that next major prophet. He was coming to correct those who were worshiping under the teaching of idolatry. And actually what laid the groundwork for this was actually here. Hold up. Let me go up here. The last book of the Old Testament. Malachi. Chapter 3. When he said right here, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to his temple. Even the messenger of the covenant whom you may delight in, or whom you delight in, behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide in the day of his coming? See, this messenger of the covenant is also in line with Muhammad himself as well. But that messenger that came first was John the Baptist. He prepared the way for Yahushua. So these are 3 people being mentioned right here. But who would be able to abide in the day of the coming of the messenger of the covenant? Who would be able to stand when he appeared? For he is like a refiner's fire, a fuller's soap. And he shall sit as a refiner or a purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi. Those are the sons of Levi that want the truth. He shall purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord offering of righteousness. So if they would hear him, these seeds of the line of Israel would receive this purifier. Because that's what Muhammad came to do, purify the message of Yahushua. That's what it means to fulfill the work. Purify what they had corrupted after his departure. That's why the Quran came. That's why Yahushua came. That's why Muhammad came. And it's the same reason why Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to us in this new era in time. Because he came to purify our hearts and minds. He told us to keep our hearts and minds pure with love and our body clean with water. Water is synonymous with knowledge. Okay. Then shall the offspring of Judah and Jerusalem be present unto the Lord as the days of the old, as in the former years. See, this is what we're going to put Judah back on the path of righteousness. And we know that the tribe of Judah was actually preserved through what we call the Sephardim, the Phalasha. Every other tribe before that was destroyed and died in the wilderness. So really, there is no 12 tribes, so to speak, that are here in this new era in time. It's really the bloodline of the tribe of Judah. And a lot of people don't know, we have the sorceries, of the bones of Yehoshua in his family tomb, so to speak, where they were buried. And guess what his son name was? Yahudah, son of Yehoshua. Judah, son of Yehoshua. So the lion of the tribe of Judah would come through the bloodline of Yehoshua. Yehoshua had Moabite blood. So what that mean? Automatically, that got something to do with you, don't it? So Prophet Noble Drew Ali coming forth as a Moabite, the ancient name, and coming forth bringing a teaching to us as Moors. It all makes sense now, don't it? We got some fulfilling to do. We in the end time. We are the fulfillment of the prophecy. We are the ones that we await. Ain't nobody coming through no clouds. Who you looking for that's blonde hair, blue-eyed, buttermilk complected? Huh? If that's what you're looking for, you ain't looking for the right individual. You see? So yeah, this particular one that was coming, family, he's definitely going to be the one, that come forth with the truth. And it goes further into the same measure here, and it talks about the book of remembrance. After it runs in the same breath, they that feared the Lord, when we was talking about, the Lamb and the 144,000 being able to hear the song, they that feared the Lord spoke often to one another. And the Lord hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and thought upon his name. So when we look at the book of remembrance, a lot of people don't know that the book of remembrance is one of the attributes of the Quran. When they say zikr, in remembrance of Allah, zikr means remembrance. The word remembrance in Hebrew is zakar. So in this particular text, when they talk about the book of remembrance, it's zakar. The book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and thought upon his name, and they shall be mine, saith the Lord of hosts. In the day when I make up my Jews, I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serveth him. He set them apart to be a royal priesthood. It says, then ye shall return and discern between the righteous and the wicked. The book of remembrance will be used as a criterion. That's where the word furqan comes from. The ability to judge between that which is right and that which is wrong. Between him that serveth God and him that serveth him not. That's why the Quran came. Because they lost sight of who was supposed to be served, family. They had started serving and worshiping idols. And this is the same thing going on now. Our people chasing after gods in whom they know nothing. History has repeated itself. So if the history repeat itself and the people were idolatrous in their nature, then one would have to come to us in this new era in time in that same spirit to demonstrate the same work to uplift us up out of the condition that we are found in. It's only right. The great God Allah would not condemn us to a hellacious condition. He would not be unjust so as to condemn us to a hellacious condition without sending us a prophet. Somebody that we could understand, somebody that could teach us, somebody that we would have to walk in the footsteps of. And that's the problem. Everybody that came before us thought they were so special that the great God Allah couldn't send nobody to nobody else. Even though in the book it tells you that there are those whom he has mentioned and those whom he had not mentioned. And a prophet to us is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. And you can't stop Allah from thinking. Because that's the only way that you can stop prophets from coming. Because we don't accept the European definition of a prophet being a seer. A prophet being a soothsayer, one who makes himself a prophet. That's the definition they give you in Webster's. A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh, and I want to see you who think you bold enough to stop him from thinking. Since you think seal of the prophet mean ain't nobody coming behind it. And we already told you that means just a stamp of authenticity. And before Muhammad was called a seal of the prophets, comedically, they were called seal of the gods. That's what Khatam meant before you came into the concept or the insight of Khatam Nabi'in, the seal of the prophets. You see? So yeah, when you go into this book of remembrance and you get into the essence of what's being said there, and he said a scroll of remembrance was written there, go into the Hebrew up here. Look at what it says. Those who feared Yahweh, right? Yahweh. See what he said? You listened to him and heard him, so it was written. While you katib, same word in Arabic, kitab, al-kitab, you katib, yeah, strong word. Sefer, which is cipher, book. While you katab, or kitib, sefer, zikarun, remembrance, zikr, in the remembrance of Allah, Arabic, Hebrew, same word. Click on the word, and you got a whole bunch of entries, 24 entries on this zikrun, ziknek, memorial. You know, we can go all the way through this thing, but it ain't necessary. You get the point. Listen to this as a reminder to the sons of Israel. That's what the Quran is. That's why when you go into the Grand Quran, it say, you know, which one of the favors of Allah would you deny? Do you remember when Allah led you through the wilderness, Israel? He gave you manna and quail and fed you with lentils and onions. You know, he struck the rock when you was thirsty, and yet and still you went against the messenger. Do you remember? You know, that's why the Quran came. It came pretty much pleading to a certain extent to those who came before him to accept the message. And when they didn't accept the message, that's when the great God Allah said, all right, turn away from Jerusalem and turn toward the Qibla, in which I turned you, which was Mecca to the Arabs. You see, our Qibla is a Qibla, the whole of a Qibla. That's a whole nother measure. We did a measure on that the other night. When you look up the word kibu, you know, it means to prostrate, to bow down. Like, why I keep using this word, but it's also dealing with, you know, a Eden-like environment, you know, the Garden of Eden and so forth and so on, which is what the name of Kibalon means. And I say, oh man, the Grand Quran say, wherever the womb, which bore you, your mother. You know, come to find out, Africa just the dirt. It ain't the continent, it's the dirt that sit on the continent. So we ain't no dirty people. You know what the prophets say about dirty anyway. But when we go into the aspect of dealing with the continent itself, at Kibalon, you look at it and you trace the word, the main words dealing with that root had to do with either a celestial mass of heaven on earth, Garden of Eden, or it had to do with, you know, a place, a fertile place along the Nile Valley. You know, it also connected, you know, to the Lebu, which are the actual Moors. We come through the land of the Lebu, the Libyan, Meswesh as they like to call them. You see what I'm saying? But it also went into to prostrate, to bow down, to worship. And I was like, why does it keep saying it? It also mentioned the tribes. So this is the tribes of a Kibalon as well. So that's our Qibla right there, to face the whole aspect. And that includes Mecca. When you really use that term, a Kibalon, that includes that whole aspect over there. But yet the Arabs were told to turn away from Jerusalem when the Israelites was acting crazy, because the Arabs used to face Jerusalem for prayer. So anyway, let me go forth a little bit more, because y'all already know when we say it, we're going to tell you and show you. You know what I mean? A lot of people be talking that noise, you know what I mean? But we're going to show you what we talking about. We say what we mean and we mean what we say. So now that we know and we have understanding on how the everlasting gospel came, you know, through Muhammad and how it reached us in this new era and time. You know, now that we understand how the works were fulfilled during that time and they are being fulfilled now we have to understand the teachings, you know, that we bring forth. And that brings us right back to what we were saying in reference to dealing with ayat 9, you know, where we were speaking on that especially drawing as it relates to there's but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it's through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. All nations of the earth in these modern times are seeking peace, but they got to teach the teaching, and now they have been teaching it. I'm going to show you. You got some people that have adopted the teachings of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Some of them already was teaching it, but some have recently adopted it. So let me share this real quick, and we're going to open up the floor in a second. Let's go right here. You know, this was written 2003. This is a greeting of John Paul II, participants of the colloquium on truth, justice, love, freedom, and the pillars of peace. I wonder where they get that from. I am pleased and welcome to you, the participants of the colloquium on truth, justice, love, freedom, pillars of peace. In a particular way, I greet the Secretary of the Pontifical Council for the Religious Dialogue, Archbishop, and it says Pir Lugia Salada, and the head of the Organization of the Islamic Culture and Communications in Tehran, Ayatollah Mahmoud Mohammadi, Iraqi. I am grateful. Mohammadi. That's one of them names we were showing you in Hebrew. They just used the I in the place of the E. I am grateful to both institutions for sponsoring this event, the fourth such colloquium organized by them. So these are Muslims and Christians here basically meeting on the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the Moors wasn't there. But that's all right, because we know where they get that from. We know where they get love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice from. Stop playing. Today, there is especially urgent need for dialogue, understanding, cooperation between the world's great religions, especially Christianity and Islam. Religion is, in fact, called to build bridges between individuals, people, cultures, to be a sign of hope for humanity. I appeal to you and to all men and women of goodwill to join your voices with mine as I repeat that the holy name of God must never be used to incite violence, terrorism, and to promote hatred or exclusion. I am confident that your continued dialogue and cooperation, which this colloquium, it says, is an eloquent example, will do much to help the Christians and Muslims to be ever more effective instruments of peace in our world. May Almighty God bless your efforts. May He grant to all mankind the courage and strength to embrace truth, justice, love, and freedom as true pillars of peace. I ain't even got to read no more after that right there. You know what I mean? That's it right there. In other words, somebody been listening to Prophet Noble Ali, huh? Somebody been reading the teachings of Prophet Noble Ali, huh? All right, let's move to the next document. This is another one dealing with Buddhism. And it's talking about the themes. And this actually is a document that I came across recently. But it says, thus the main themes of Buddhism are truth, freedom, justice, loving kindness, compassion, love, happiness, emancipation, etc. The fundamental teachings, it says, such as the Four Noble Truths, casually, it says rebirth and three characteristics, etc., were preached by the Buddha for achieving above things. The achievement of the above goals depend on oneself. Buddha only shows the path. So in other words, the Buddha, the enlightened one, can teach you something, but you got to embrace it. Tamihihi kikam atapam aktaharo, and it says tathagata. The path is a practical and realistic. It says, since without practicing, one can never achieve peace and freedom. Only by mere praying and doing sacrifices or rituals, the themes of peace, freedom, liberation, love, and happiness are not unique for the Buddhism. It says, but they are common to many religions in the world. Many prophets, religions, and teachers and saints preach their doctrines for the well-being and happiness of all humankind. But the doctrine of peace in Buddhism has unique features which distinguish it from all other religions. And it goes on and on and on. But they actually, in certain doctrines, I have the teachings, where they actually use the specific principles in Buddhist doctrine: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Hinduism too. In fact, Sai Baba. Let's see right here. Sati Sai Baba. Let's see. I know it's something like this here. It'll come up if I put this in. It should anyway. So, yeah, the 5 human virtues for the earth. This is how they quote them: truth, right, action, peace, love, and non-violence. The love, the peace, and all of that right there is there. And they actually have a star. I'm going to see if they have it in here. They don't have it on this document here. Let's see. If I hit images, it should. There it is right there. See? Love, truth, peace, non-violence, and right conduct. So this replaces your freedom and justice. So where you have freedom and justice, there is non-violence and right conduct basically. You know what I mean? Love as thought is truth. Love as action is right conduct. Love as understanding is peace. Love as feeling non-violence. Sai Baba. So these principles are most definitely, being taught around the world. Here's another drawing right here, dealing with some Moroccans here, and they in here demonstrating, is talking about the principles as well. It says in India, where our sacred cow print of our most popular, and they got a little garb they trying to sell up here with a cow print on it, right? In India, they consider the cow as a sacred symbol of life. The cow was adopted definitely from the Kemetic teaching. Heteru represented the goddess in most cases, but also it was revered in other cultures. But it says a symbol of a life that should be protected and revered. In the Vedas, the oldest Hindu scriptures, the cow is associated with Aditi, the mother of all the gods. It says this time in a Sultan red for our Moroccan collection. Red has a considerable historic significance in Morocco, proclaiming the descent from the royal Alawite dynasty. It said this ruling house was associated with the Islamic prophet Muhammad via Fatima, the wife of Ali, and it says the 4th Muslim caliph. Red is also the color that was used by the Sharifs of Mecca and the Imams of Yemen from the 17th century on, when Morocco was ruled by the Alawite dynasty and the flags of their country were plain red. On 17th of November 1915, Sultan Yusuf signed the Adahir that made Morocco's red flag, their flag red with green interlaced pentangle. The 5 points of the star stand for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Now we know good and well no Moroccans ain't been teaching that. But let them tell it here. That's what they said. That star, they said it represented the 5 pillars of Islam. Now, originally, that's what the star represented in their flag, but it don't represent that today because we know it was used in our enslavement to aid and abet, so it became fallow when they gave it to George Washington, told he can fly it, so nobody would mess with them on the water while he carried some human cargo over here. And that's why the flag became fallow. That's why they lost the essence of the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's why the prophet displayed the two flags in opposition. United States flag backwards and the Moroccan flag upside down, showing that they were in a state of adversity. And even the Moroccans still fly like that today. So upside down didn't represent no love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It represented the opposite of that. What's the opposite of love? Hate. What's the opposite of truth? Falsehood. What's the opposite of peace? War. What's the opposite of freedom? Slavery. What's the opposite of justice? Injustice. That's what was going on. And that's what was going on with our people. So that's why the Prophet Noble Drew Ali flew it that way when he came back from the Pan American Conference, when he had the Panama on his head. But they're here saying that, you know, it represented love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. No, it did not under the French and Spanish, but we get what they're saying. So I'm showing you how everybody claiming our principles but us. This is another drawing, reconstructing the social order, truth, justice, love, and freedom. Another Christian document right here. This is just a little preview. You know, my thesis is simply this in its efforts. It says to construct a livable, viable social order, the church well to stress three facets of human living, truth, justice, and love. Where the church failed, and was its failure to recognize truth, justice, and love, and are not enough to really there if a man they serve is not free. Let me explain my thesis by moving swiftly, relentlessly from truth through justice and love to freedom. You know, and it goes into, you know, a bunch of measures as far as his background. So I'm showing you, everybody know about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But how many people are actually teaching it? That's what we want to know. How many people are actually teaching it? You know, and I'm going to give you one more before I open up the floor real quick, because we're getting ready to open up the floor for our family right here. I'm going to do this real quick. Okay. Let's see. I may be able to do it like this. Let's see. Hold on. Let me see here. Oh, let me see. Come on in here. I'm going to show you this right here. Like I said, we're going to open up the floor for our family. You know, and it's grand drawing, family. Give me 1 second here. Okay, I got it right there. There we go. Okay, here they go, right here. Okay, now let me share this. Okay, present the screen. Okay, we just do this one tab here because we done used all the other stuff. Okay, and here we go. These are documents that I came forth with, family. When we first started having it, because it's one of the first things I had to defend was our flag. You know, and I was trying to make it plain to our family, you know, that the prophet had spoke on our flag and the principles. You know, in his warning, when we close out our meetings, he say, you know, a failure to obey these orders would be a severe consequence, right? You see, we for love, truth, peace, and freedom. That's in your flag in green, right? Above the scimitar. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, right? And justice. That's the scimitar. Now the scimitar is there. And when these principles are violated, justice must take its course. So you got love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. The star manifesting as a result, and justice taking its course. So the prophet really spoke of our flag in the spirit of that statement, whether we look at it or know it or not, right? So I wrote and compiled certain measures dealing with how the flag came about, you know, and I sent it out to the Moors, you know, I went through a couple of different measures here. I got 2 different documents that I had put together, showing how it relates to us. And at the bottom of the document, I close it out, with what I call a Moorish Psalm, and that's Psalms 85, 85, 10 through 14, and it states, near indeed is his salvation, which is freedom, right? Salvation is freedom. I put that down. The rest of it is as it already was. For those who fear him, glory will dwell in our land. Love and truth will meet. Justice and peace will kiss. And truth will spring from the earth. Justice will look down from heaven. Now, I just showed you how all of these things represent the scimitar coming into being. The scimitar represents the strength of Allah as well. Yes, the Lord will grant his bounty, and our land will yield its produce. This is a prophecy, Moors. Justice will march before him and will make way for his footsteps. Yehoshua means justice, and he marched before our holy prophet Noble Drew Ali and made way for his footsteps. So with that being said, Moorish kin, we say gratitude, Islamism without the schism, and most definitely peace, love, and law at all costs. So that being said, we're going to open up the floor now so that we can hear from our Moorish kin. It don't get no plainer than the truth. Islamism without the schism. Star 6 your phone, Moors. Uh-oh, I know what's going on here. Can you hear me, Moors?
Islam.
Islam, yes, sir. And praise be to Allah. You got one? You want to come forth, Brother Marvin Edwards Bay, and give your portion?
Yes, sir.
All right, grand man. Let me turn this volume up.
Oh, I'm kind of low.
No, I'm low on my end. I had it turned down,
Yes,
but
sir.
I got it open back up so I can hear you now. Islam?
Okay. Islam. Gratitude.
Gratitude.
Rising. Okay, I'm Dr. Marvin Ellis Bay out of the Texas territory. Rising. Giving all praise to the great God Allah, giving highest honors to his prophet, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Al-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Give high honors to our theocratic government, our Moorish American government. Give high honors to our Act 1. I give high honors to all of our officials. I give high honors to this class, our Moorish Perspectives class, as well as I give honors to you, Dr. Shedwood Minty Mohammed Sepsuel, our National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America, and host and instructor of this most powerful class, very powerful class. And we talk about there is but one true divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. And this is beautiful because when we look at this, we know that the prophet came to his people, say, first, but he brought a universal message. You know, um, he said that America would be the most powerful country on the planet if they would let our people go. You know what I mean? If they would get their foot off our neck, so to speak. You know what I mean? If they would embrace love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. You know what I mean? But that's our job today. We can't look for no one else to do it. So we have to lead. We have to take the lead. You know what I mean? And we're doing this in our Moorish American government. Every day we're being taught to be the message that we bring. You know what I mean? And we do that by every day. You know what I mean? Exercising love to everyone. You know what I mean? Peace, freedom, justice. And of course, we can't forget the truth. You know what I mean? Truth is first, you know. Um, always bringing the truth, making sure that it's understood, you know. It's just a beautiful thing to be alive here in this new era of time now because we have an opportunity to fulfill the prophecies. Because we have been prophesied about, you know what I mean? We were a people that was that we had been high because, you know, we were the first people on the planet and we have been brought so low, lower than an animal, so to speak. Well, that's what they tried to do. But the great God, Allah, was merciful and he sent us a prophet to show us the way because he was the way. You know what I mean? He was the example, you know. And so this is what it's all about. And it's the virtues, it's the character that we exhibit every day in this Morris American government and Morris America. So this is what it's all about. I'm just proud. I'm just grateful for being a part of this divine and national movement, to be an aid and assistance to my government in bringing this to the world. And with that, I'm going to say gratitude, God, man, for allowing me to speak. Islam and peace.
And gratitude for your measure, Consul General and Scribe. We give honors to you for all that you do. Praise be to Allah, Swift Angel. All right. Islam. Islam, brother.
Islam, Grand Class, Sister National Grand Sheik, Grand Class. My name is Sean Washington M.O. Tuck, baby, from the Michigan Territories. I rise to give all praise to the great God Allah. I give all honors to this dear credit Morris government, all the 12 departments, you know, all my Morris kin, the East departments, you know, all my Morris kin on the line, on call tonight, you know. I give honors to, you know, the Human Nation, Book of Fire, Holy Quran, the 101s, 102s. Now we give all honors to the Morris government flag, not the national flag. Could you repeat that one more time?
We coming from Ayat 4. We coming from Ayat 4 in our Moorish Holy Quran. If you're online, you know it says there's but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days, and it's through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations and all lands. That's Ayat 9, and Ayat 4 is the main one that we pivoting from, you know, dealing with you know, the fulfillment, Yehoshua, you know, being the fulfillment of the teachings that he had brought in our prophet, Islam.
Islam. And Noble Ali, the last prophet, he was returned on Yeshua. He had the Canaanite, you know, and the Moabite bloodline. You know, that's why we telling people that's these so-called Hebrew Israelites. You know, they on these corners all in America, you know, and, they say the same, you know, they say, when they're speaking of Yahshua, you know, they don't know that's more science, but you know, they don't know that. They are Moors, they're just tribals. I think, you know, he was talking to the designers. I think the designers it was around in the 20s. Designers, Jews, Moors, you know. That's why he came. That's why he came back with, you know, his first temple was the Canaanite temple. You know, people over there like like Jordan, Arabia, Egypt. I think Sudan is part of. I think Sudan is part of Canaan too. You know, you got Lebanon and Syria, the Amorites. You know, one family. We was all related to each other, you know. And you know, they need to come on and you know, declare their nationality, Hebrew Israelites. You know, they don't know to stop the Star of David has chakra. It's supposed to have a chakra in it. Yeah, you know, I've been reading on that. And what's my other? I was gonna say something. What I was gonna say. Morocco, you know, that's over there in the kingdom over there. No, that's the French territories. You know, and you know the prophet. You know, I'm telling you, this is right in the nation. The prophet that's why he had the rocking flag upside down and the banner. Corporate banner is not a flag. He had, I think, we was in the top. He had his office. You know, I believe it was he was in Chicago, and I could see it's real faded. He had, I see the Moroccan flag upside down and the banner upside down. So he was telling us, you know, when he was in Cuba, he did the same thing. And people denying it, and you know, they're not reading through this, you know, the Book of Fire, you know. And like you were saying, it was no love, true peace, freedom, and justice, you know, in that rocket flag, French flag. You know, and our ancient forefathers, that flag was second. It was another Moroccan flag. I think it was green. That was the first in the ancient times, among the fathers, that was the first flag. They changed. I think the French changed it when the Moors have. Most fathers have failed. You know. You know, the Moor Science Temple they still flying that Moroccan flag. You know, they're not gonna listen. You know. That's French. You know, they don't know it. They don't know that. You know, they under their organization. The prophet, him and Marcus Garvey went to Havana, Cuba. You know, he went as he was, like I always say, he was getting out of these organizations. That's why he brought us a government, a theocratic government. He gave us our independence, our birthrights, gave us our own flag, constitution, laws. And Prophet Muhammad, you know, now we tell people the Arabians, they got Kush blood. You know, a lot of Kushites went to Arabia. The Moors. I read up on that. His grandfather was melanated. You know, he was too. Prophet Muhammad. They got an African creed from Hagar. Hagar, Ishmael. That's the bloodline. Moabites, the Hittites, the Canaanites, Hamatites. You know, people. You know, they don't get it. That's not our flag. You know, Moroccan flag. You know, I was about to say something else. Yeah, they bloodline go all the way back to Kush, Arabia. You know, and you know they probably was traveling. That's why, and that's why the prophet said the Indians' land is Canaan. But the Hindustanis and the Hindustanis, the Kushites, all of them is related. Now I've been reading up on that. The more science, I'm on that. That's why the prophet said they was jumping up and down when he went over there in Canaan. Grand Cast, peace and love,
Islam and peace and love. And I just want to make one correction concerning the flag. The first flag was actually white. You know, that come forth under the Idrisid dynasty, and then green under the Fatimid dynasty. Islam. You know,
they know that.
Gratitude.
Islam.
Islam. And actually, I put that in the Grand Sicily too, the same document I was reading from earlier when we closed. So gratitude, though, for that measure, brother. Praise be to Allah. Islamism without the schism. Well, all right. Well, let us call forth our other Moorish kin who would like to come forth and exercise their fire. The floor is still open, family.
Islam,
Islam, brother Mohammed.
gratitude, National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America and its nation. I am Dr. Joel Hamid Muhammad Bey, Consul General of the South Carolina Consulate. First, let me rise in praise of our Father God Allah, who is the best knowing, the best arranger of all things. I want to give the highest honors to his holy prophet, our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, who is the last prophet of this new era of time now. He is the seventh manifestation in divine flesh, the seventh angel, El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali, giving much love, honor, and respect to you, always our national assistant, Grand Sheikh of the Moorish American nation and its government, for always exercising your five with sincerity and truth, freely, with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Gratitude for all that you have done, are doing, and will continue to do for the upliftment of our Moorish American nation, those know and those that don't know. I give honors to Act 1 of our divine constitution and bylaws. I give honors to all of our officials of our Moorish American government. I give honors to our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, and our Grand National Flag. I give honors to this theocratic government in which we all live and can live. I give honors to Marcus Mosiah Garvey L., the harbinger and forerunner who prepared the way for our beloved Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honors to all of our Moorish kin, our visitors in the public and social media, to our student ministers, our angels, our executive rulers, our Mufti Corps, to everyone on this Moorish Perspective StreamYard Live conference call this evening. And I give honors to those that have spoken before me and those that will speak after me. And I give honors to absolutely everything Moorish. Grand class as always. There is but one true and divine way that peace may be obtained in these days. And it is through love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice being taught universally to all nations in all lands. Grand, oh man, it's such a powerful statement. You know, it speaks of peace. And it's so unique because in the lessons that our beloved Holy Prophet Noble Drew Ali brought to us, there are so many keys in how he presents the statements in the lessons that he puts forth. For example, in this very statement here, when it's talking about true and divine, that means pure, and it's based upon truth. But then we find it says, okay, now how? So the first thing is what? Love. How does this achieve? Through love. So one has to ask oneself, okay, what type of love is it that establishes peace? Because in the world we live in, right, we have these so-called semblances of what love is. And, you know, so-called love, you know, according to human knowledge, can be deadly, can be destructive. We know that's not divine. We know that's not true love. But in the statement that the prophet brought to us, look at the second principle that follows love, truth. Oh, my goodness. So when we put this love together with the truth and we become sincerely dedicated, obedient, submissive, and conforming to that love of the truth, what begins to happen? Oh, look at the next step. Oh, we begin to have peace. Why do we begin to have peace? Because, see, when truth comes, it distinguishes truth, it distinguishes itself from falsehood. That means clarity comes. And when clarity comes, that means the confusion in the state of the mind, in the way that we perceive people, places, and things changes. Now, look at the next principle. Freedom. Oh, so my love of the truth has now given me a state of peace, which has freed me. I become free from all of these different vices that they have in society that you mentioned about. In particular, so-called religious vices, right? Whereby people's misunderstanding and misinterpretations, mistranslations, and misteachings, misguidance of true religious principles that we're talking about now causes the division and the separation. But we're talking about that truth that is based upon fact, that frees us from the confusion or the lack of the knowledge of the truth. And it begins with the knowledge of the truth of the self. So now that we have this freedom, now I can begin to think with the balance of justice. I can begin to speak with the balance of justice. I can begin to live according to the balance of justice with my fellow brother, sister, and all of the nations of the earth. So this is ultimately what? See, when it says being, right, taught, obtained, right, to all the nations, we know, according to more science, this is a living manifestation, but it starts with one ingesting, taking in, and digesting these divine teachings so that we could begin to do what? Manifest them in our everyday lives. And then wherever we go, whoever we see, whatever we encounter, our whole character and personality is based upon these 5 principles. We approach with love because we love the truth, and we are peaceful and free from chaos and confusion. Therefore, we treat everyone with justice and equality. I mean, there's just so much more to this class, my brother. But yes, everything that the prophet brought is right and exact. Because remember, it's divine. And that's wisdom that spoke to us from out the highest plane of spirit life. Because in more science, what do we say? The great God Allah speaks to man through man. And man, let me stop running my beak. Islam and gratitude, grand man. Thanks for letting me share. Grand class, peace and love.
Islam and gratitude. Gratitude for the measure. Islam. We got room for one more we'll let in. Any more that may be biting at the bit to bring their measure on the manifest? If not, we'll go to our officials. Islam. All right, going once, going twice. Islam.
Got there for the day. Morris, Virgin Islands, first I rise and give praise to Allah. Unless hold your lead, unless to our Moorish American government, unless to our Moorish flag or grand national seal and emblem, unless act one and everything Moorish, unless our Moorish respect this class this evening, unless to you that the Shiloh Media Major National Assistant Grand Sheikh of Moorish America for another grand class this evening. Unless to all the Moors that spoke before me and all those who will speak after me. Unless the information is so powerful, I just have to let it soak in, you know. But like I would just ask this, like how you have ayat 4 as the question, and even the subject title, European had peace for a long time until Mohammed the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Jesus of Nazareth. Could you say like that the U.S. had peace for a long time until the advent of Noble Ali, you know, came on the scene fulfilling the works of Muhammad and Yahushua? That's just a question that's been running through my mind, because here this is the last prophet in these days and time now. He came to fulfill what the other prophets had come to fulfill, and it's nothing new. He didn't come to change the laws. He just came to fulfill Islam. Gratitude for allowing me to speak. Peace and love.
Islam. Yes, sir. That was actually the theme of the message. And we give honors to you for the love thought, my brother. So gratitude, Brother Miller Bay. Well, all right, at this time, we're going to go to our officials. Starting with our sister Alceta Moonell. Islam, you there, Goddess and Queen?
Islam Grand Man, the goddess is unavailable at this time. She's on a mission. Peace and love.
Islam. Praise be to Allah. Islamism. Well, all right. Let us call forth our Grand National Mufti, Dr. Khonshu Ma'at Heru Bey. Islam, Royal Council. You there, Grand Man?
Wow.
Islamism.
Gratitude, Grand Man. We rise, giving all thanksgiving, adoration, worship, and praise to our Father God, Allah, great God of the universe, the most beneficent and the most wise, and we give the highest honors that we can give to His prophet, our prophet, the last prophet in these days and in these times, Prophet Noble Ali, the Savior of humanity. Give honors to His forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and we give honor to His government, our government, the Moorish American government, the government in which we live. According to Act 6, we give honor to the officials of this said government, our divine ministers, with angels, our mufti, our royal council, secretaries. We give honors to our citizens, the Moorish Americans. We give honors to our flag, our divine constitution and bylaws, our Holy Quran, our Grand National Seal, our Grand National Emblem, our Book of Fire, the Exhument of a Nation. We give honors to everything that is Moorish. We give special high honors to our National Assistant Grand Sheikh, Dr. Shadu Michi and Metru Shesuel, for bringing forth this grand Moorish perspective this evening. We give honor to all of our Moorish kin who have spoken before us, and to our Moorish kin that will speak after us. We give you, angels. We just continue to give the honors where they're due and honor all true and divine prophets. And we give honors to our ancestors. They have come before us, leading the way. And we are them today without doubt or contradiction, because no one has the power to change man from his sin nature. And praise the Lord for that. And praise the Lord for this class and Grant Moore's perspective and Moore's Ken bringing forth their divine thoughts. And as our prophet said, until this message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice is taken across the world or taught and practiced by the nations of the earth, there's never going to be any peace. There's never going to be any justice in this demonstration. And this world we live in, as long as we continue to let it be ran by chaos, as long as we continue to let it be ran by greed, as long as we continue to let it be ran by the faculties of the lower self, the hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harm, it's a sad state for man and humanity as a whole. And we as the mothers and fathers of the human family, the Asiatics and the Muslims, we have to wake up and bring our children back into, some law and order. Let them know that there is consequences for actions that go against the rules of the house. The rules of the home. Our home is the earth on this physical plane, and ones need to get in line with it. Ones need to clean up the house. Ones need to take care of where we live so that we can continue to live here. And as long as we shirk away from our duty, as long as we try to act like we don't hear the clarion call from the great God to bring about some correction, to call let one know, hey, street lights is on, get your butt in this house. That understanding that, hey, the light is shining. It's time to come home. It's things to do. Got to wash up. Got to prepare for the next day. Those type of things. We're going to have some problems. And so, as we look at, the fact that one's created Christianity for their own earthly salvation, and that the lessons that we got is for our divine and earthly salvation, we'll see that, there's something missing, the divinity. And we got to connect ourselves or realign ourselves with the divine nature of the self. Because, as we can see, being disconnected from Christianity and being disconnected from our divinity so that somebody else could have earthly salvation or earthly riches is not good for the whole, for everyone. Because we all play a part in the vast body of this world. The world is a living organism in itself, and we all each play a part in the process and life of this living organism. Because as above, so below. Just as we are living and breathing, so is the earth. It's just like we got entities that live within our body, not just the bacteria, not just the different cells in our body. Some of us have parasites, and some of us have different other things that are part of the body that are living off the whole demonstration, off the whole body working together. And so we see, that same understanding in the wider field, and we have to realize that everybody's not going to play the position of the brain. Everybody's not going to play the position of the stomach. Everybody's not going to play the position of the eyes. But everybody has a place in the body, and that one has been disconnected from the spirit. And without the spirit, the body can't live. Without the spirit, the body can't live. One can try to artificially keep that demonstration running, but they can't start it off like that. And as soon as they pull the plug, that demonstration is going to pass. It's going to stop running. And so we are the spiritual part of this body. And in order for us to live, to attain to the highest that's within us as human, we got to be connected. The spirit's got to be in there, got to be with us, and we got to be using it to animate this divine body called a nation that goes about creating a vision or creating a reality in which we wish to see as the spirit backing the nation, as the energy that's used to drive the nation and move the nation. And as we energize our nation, as we reconnect our spirit to our nation, demonstrating love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, we'll see the reality that we live in change overnight. As the prophet said, it'll be a breath of life. It's going to be up before you know it. So it's just been a grand class, and we give you guys for the class this evening, National Sister Grand Sheik, and we give honors to Morris Ken, sympathizers and supporters for being here with us, giving us your time, your attention, and respect. We love you. Islam and peace.
Islamism, brother, the love is mutual. Praise be to Allah. Honors to you and the tribe. Islam. Well, all right. Let us call forth our Grand National Secretary of State, Sister Hatshepsut Rakat Ma'at and Pooh, Tutankhamun Bey. Islam, you there, scribes?
Close to the thought, gratitude.
Islam,
Morris Kid. We powerful class. Islam. First of all, I want to rise, giving all praises to our Father God Allah, giving honor to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times, giving honor to our Moorish American government, all of our official staff, Cliff Angels, Muftis, divine ministers, most especially our Moorish kin. Giving honor to all those Moors that spoke before me, all those Moors that will speak after me. Giving a special honor to our National Assistant Grand Sheik of Moorish America, Dr. Shadowal Menti Elma Hedges Shepsuel, for opening our meeting according to law and also hosting this grand Moorish Perspectives class this evening. I want to give honor to Act One, to all of our Moorish kin that brought forth their measure, and our family online. Our subject matter is pivoting to Ayat 4. Europe had peace for a long time until Mohammed the First came upon the scene and fulfilled the works of Yahushua of Nazareth, and also featuring Ayat 9. And Dr. Shaheed, you brought forth some powerful measures, and going back to the blessings that our ancestors and forefathers want to manifest. And as I was reflecting and looking at the master words and the various source materials, and just the bringing forth the magnanimous task that we have at hand, when we look at the gifts and treasures that have been provided to us, these are gifts from our Creator, our Father God Allah, and we recognize the fact that we come from a source of divinity. So with that being said, we have to learn how to utilize these gifts for not the benefit of just self, but for our nation and also the rest of the nations of the earth, because we are truly one family. When we look at various things in history, recognizing what not to do, and also being given holy and divine instructions as what has to be done. We know that we have been given the solution to the Negro problem. We have been given holy and divine instructions in reference to character building, how to master oneself, how to bring forth that discipline and control within ourselves, so that that opens the door for the study of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and making these degrees applicable to the self. Us being children of our one Father, then these things are inherent with us. So when we recognize the fact that we've got to get our priorities on point, we know that we don't want the same things that we have gone through and suffered to be to have our children's children go through these special degrees, especially when the keys and the solution has been provided to us. So we are the ones that we have been looking for. And, we need to marinate on that and then take action, because we recognize the fact that more are active and not passive. In order for us to bring peace into the world, we have to be that peace. If we're looking for love divine, we have to be that love divine. And when you have more and more of our kin recognizing the fact that they've got to be the message that they bring, then that brings about a change of divinity. And we know that this has been prophesied to be. So this has been a grand class in reference to being able to go back and also recognize the task that we have at hand. And it's something that is not foreign to us as a people, because we see that the keys of civilization, we're the ones that provided it at first, and we're the ones to bring it back around again. But it has to be done in love divine. So this has been a magnanimous class, Dr. Shaheed. Much gratitude for all of the work that you do, and bringing forth these holy and divine instructions for clarification and clarity, so that our people can get it. So that we can stop the madness and stop the insanity by stopping the madness and insanity within ourselves. So gratitude more for calling me forth. Our chairman is not available this evening, and much peace and love to all of our Moorish kin. Gratitude, peace and love.
Islam, and gratitude and peace and love to the tribe of endurance. Because y'all in endurance, many ages, so to speak, and kept the door open. Praise be to Allah for the tribe of endurance, our chairman and, cherubim and seraphim. Praise be to Allah. All right, if that ain't the strength of Allah made manifest, well, let us call forth our National Grand Sheikh, Dr. Serapis Amin Rael, National Grand Sheikh of Moorish America. Islam, you there, Grand Sheikh?
Islam, close to the thought angel.
Islam, that's that scimitar the prophet brought. Islam.
First, giving praise to Allah. Highest honors to his love, God. Everything he brought and everyone he taught. Prophet Noble Drew Ali came 5 times more powerful. This has set us all free. Thank you, Prophet. Honors to our bishops and our staff, this government, as well as our Grand Mufti, Grand Mufti Corps, Band Ministers, Student Ministers alike, Royal Council, Sisters, sympathizers, supporters, and our guests. We give honors to this grand presentation, Sheikh. You did it again. And the lesson struck upon us being consolidated on the principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, and being ever mindful of the
part each of us play within these the chores of life. And you pointed out, without saying it, why we're here. Why did Allah send us here? And what our job is and our mission. And you gave plenty of examples of how Allah has spoke to various prophets and other students in his universal force of bringing love on the manifest and keeping love on the front burner, and also how he brought them principles, and each one of the principles nations have sought to destroy or tear down, and you showed us how you can't do that, which is not going to work, and you showed how Allah through the prophet has always been on the manifest, giving us a tour guide of what we're supposed to do, and how the nations that Allah appears to send his angels to were always in conflict with each other until that one was sent. And when that one was sent, they didn't want him. The same thing occurred, he showed us in these times by way of prophet. So with you, Ali, how one seen that brother, they didn't want to give him his prophet, so to speak. They didn't believe that he was the love God made manifest. But yet still, he showed them without being, how you would just say it, disrespectful towards them, that he was the one. Not only he was the one, he is the one. And how he shines in our life by being that marveling set from the great God by being the love made manifest, and how the love is shepherded and chaperoned throughout the universe, but mainly through Moorish America. And so I'm become humble with this lesson, and we pray that continue bringing one these truths more, and always in the context of being the love thought of Allah made manifest. It's fine. January 15th, 1929, a warning from the prophet, the read in all means. Everybody inform all citizens they must end all radical, agitated speeches while they work in the homes or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop blasting your cards to Europeans and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will reveal severe consequences. We offer love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and when these principles are violated, justice then will take its course. Any citizen or group of citizens that hold malicious feelings toward the government or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by the prophet. They lose confidence in the prophet. They should have turned in the card and button. They swear in terms of faith and return to the state where the prophet found it. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet, number true Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the government is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea. To all Moorish Americans, they do their part, protecting the prophet and the government. This is a everlasting movement honored by the prophet through the will of Allah, to redeem his people from their sinful ways, by order of prophet number 2 Ali. This divine warning is supreme laws now, and will be enforced by the said government hereby. Islam. 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 The Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. You are the children of one father, provided for by his care and the breast of one mother. Has given you, sir. Divine affection, therefore, unite thee with thy brothers, and peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relation that binds you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger for thy own blood. Thy brothers in the birthday of him. If our sisters in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortunes of our Father contribute to support of his whole race and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam, Islam, Islam. This meets the sister close Act 2 by divine constitution and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Go in peace, boys. Much love to you. Islam. Much love. Great class.
Grand class. That's a Shaheed. That is a grand class. As always.
We love you,
We love our teachers.
We love that.
We love you, family. Grand class.
Islam. And we love you too, Moorish King. Islamism without the schism. That's right. Islam. We love you, Moors. Praise be to Allah. And honors to all of your contributions and participation. Allah is leading on and victory is sure. Islam. Want to give honors to our family as well out there in social media as well, you know, that has tuned in and continue to tune in. Noble Brian, creator of the Boundless Universe. And our brother, I'm looking for that email. I looked for it, couldn't see it. I don't know if it went somewhere. Oh, re-email me. Charles Ward L, Dr. Malik L. Bay, Avenge the Ancestors, Marquis C. Mac, A.T. Sankofa, all of y'all. Love from above. All right.
This session is no longer being recorded.
See you Moors in Sunday school. Islam. And y'all be sure to tune into our ears class tomorrow as well. We love you. Peace and love. Islam, brother Tabi. Islam. Tribe of endurance. Islam. All right. Peace and love, Moors.